Hey everyone.
Hi, Vinay, this is George. Vinay?
Yeah, tell me.
Okay, can you a little bit collaborate about this question I had? I saw your email. I'm trying to follow the lab instructions, and it says to set up all the staging tables and do the settings and switch on delta detection. So I have two questions here actually.
Yes.
Not every staging table has this option enabled. It says do it only for the staging table that has the setting enabled. That was the first question. And the second is about this delta detection. Maybe I misunderstand it. I thought this is to detect the differences in the records, like deltas records. So can you talk about this? You might spoke about this before, but I forgot why. Why do we do the settings? And I know that like the first option is for how long we want to retain the raw data, right? So we can retain it for several days or several months. But the second one is delta. So can you talk about this, please?
Delta detection is basically used when you are not truncating your landing table. This is the example that we had seen previously. That initially, like in the first load, for example, I got some 100 records, and I process that. So 100 records get loaded into my staging table, and 100 records into my PRL table, which is the previous landing table. And previous landing table only maintains data for one run, or we can say the last run. So once we have loaded it, next time like we got some 50 new records or changed records. So we are not truncating our landing table, we are just appending those 50 records into the landing table. So when we do run the stage job, at that time it compares the landing table and the PRL table based on like whatever settings you have done. You have set based on a date column or you have set it based on a specific column. So it will compare both the tables, and if it finds that similar data exists, maybe based on the date or maybe based on the column, it will just ignore those records. And it will process only the new records or the changed records which has come. So usually we do the delta based on the date column. So usually like whatever new records have come, that only gets processed. So similarly in this run, like in the second run, only 50 records got processed, and then it truncated the PRL table and copied all the data from the landing table. And similarly the third one, where we got like new 60 records. So we appended the new 60 records in our landing table, and then when we ran the job, it again compared the landing table against the PRL table, which is having like 150 records. So it knows that only 60 new records or updated records have come, so only those got processed. And after processing, again it truncates the PRL table and copy all the data from your landing table. So that's basically PRL table, which is used for delta detection process.
Okay, I got this point. I might got a little bit confused with the name, but what was not clear for me, why? So I think you said that either we have a row table or we have a previous load table, right?
Yes,
so it's either one or another. But
yes.
But in the settings, those are not ready buttons. Those are the checkboxes. So you can pretty much have both.
Yes, you can have both. But the main thing is there is no advantage, because see, when you are already have all the records in your landing table, like here I am just appending 100, then 50, then 60. If every record is there already in my landing table, then there is no need to maintain a raw table.
I understood this. It just okay. Okay, that's fine.
Like
But
I told in real time will not do it. This is just for training purpose. So here it asks you to enable everything so that you can test it.
right, right. Okay. Now, as far as the settings option or the setting tab being activated, like
Yes.
for some of them it's grayed out, for some of them are active. Can you
Yes.
remind us why is that?
That is because unless you create a mapping for that staging table, it will be grayed out. So if you create a staging table, only one table gets created. And once you create a mapping between that staging table and a landing table, then 4 supporting tables will get created and the setting tabs gets enabled. So
Okay,
that
so it's only when we create the mapping, that's when it's activated.
is correct. When you create the mapping, then the setting will get enabled and these raw, reject, PRL and OPL tables will get created.
Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. And maybe, I don't know, for the other people, maybe it will be useful to let them know what you told me about to deactivate this option for Delta.
Yeah, that I forgot to tell everyone. Like the delta detection setting, like if you're going and running the stage job, just go and remove the delta detection settings from the table because you might be getting error that all the stage jobs will fail if there is a delta detection enabled as of now. That is because like MDM supports like Oracle version 11.2.0.3 onwards. So 3, 4 it supports. So the Oracle version that we have is 11.2.0.1. That's the only version like which is available when we go to the Oracle and download it. The 3 and these 4 versions are basically paid versions. So that is not freely available. So we have installed here. Because of that, only this property doesn't work. Enable delta detection. Raw will work. If you enable the raw, you can test the raw. But if you enable the delta detection, you will get an error while running the stage jobs. So as of now, from the lab, it will ask you to enable the delta detection and the raw. So just enable the raw. Don't enable the delta detection because this property you will not be able to test as of now.
Vinay, one more question. I'm sorry.
Yes, tell me.
I want to ask them before we start because usually we don't have time in the end. In the module 3 lab 4, it starts with register a clean match server.
Yeah.
It's probably the old names or the new.
Yeah, that's correct. I told you that previously the name was cleanse match server. Now it is like process server.
Okay, so it's a process
Yes.
server. That's the one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's in the utilities we have the process server. So this is the option.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured. Thank you.
Okay. So yesterday, like we had started with the match process, and in the match process, like we were looking into the exact match. So for the exact matches, like this is the match and merge property. So for any base object that we want to configure, we have to come under the base object, click on this match and merge setup. And in that, the first thing is match and search strategy. So this is either fuzzy or exact. So we discussed what is the difference. If we select exact, then when we go and create the match rules, at that time we can use only the exact column. We cannot use fuzzy columns. But if we select fuzzy, we will be able to use some columns as a fuzzy columns and some columns as exact columns. So for all the business tables, we will be selecting fuzzy only because we know that we are going to use some columns as fuzzy and some columns as exact. And usually exact we leave it for the lookup tables because we know that we are not going to do any matching as such for the lookup tables because those are static tables. So but here I just selected it for the customer table so that I can show you the properties and how it works. And the same properties we can use even when we use the fuzzy. So we have selected this match and search strategy as exact. Then we went to the match columns. And here we have used this add button. Using this add button, we have added all the columns that we want to use for the matching purpose. And one more thing here that I would like to tell is, here if you go to the lab guide, it might ask you to enter such names like ex space first name, like this. So it will ask you to enter probably the field name with a space. So now a space is not allowed. So in this case, just put an underscore there. And then you can add a single column or multiple columns here in this whatever column name you are defining. So field name, like once we click on the OK, we cannot change the field names. Like for example, here we sometimes do, like when we are typing it, we will give like n in small letters. So just as a general convention, we are putting that it should be in word case. The first letter should be in capital letters. So once we create it, click on the OK, it doesn't give us an option to change it here. The field name we cannot change. So you can just remove it and create it again. But columns you can later on remove also and add also here. You can change any column or add any column. And once we have created the columns, then we have to go to the match rule sets. And here we need to create one rule set, which will be our default rule set. So we can have multiple, but usually one will be active at a time. And under this match rule set, we will have to create multiple rules depending on the requirement. So yesterday, like we created 2 rules and then we removed one of them. So rule wise, like if you have multiple rules, like 2 rules, in this case, MDM executes that in order. It will go and execute rule 1. And if any record is not matching on rule 1, only those records will get matched on rule 2. So it follows that order for matching. So rules are basically an OR condition, and whatever columns we have, like here we have used first name and the last name. So these two are an AND condition. If both of them matches, then only it is a match. And then the third thing was auto option. So when we are 100% sure that yes, whatever records are getting matched on this particular rule is always correct, then I can go for auto merge. So this is merge basically, auto yes or auto no. So that can be changed from here on the down. This arrow button is there. Using this arrow, I can make this rule as no, or I can make this rule as yes. So this has impact on the matching process, like when we run the match process, and if any record gets matched on this rule, in the match table, MTCH table, we have auto merge indicator. So that will be 1. So because after the match process, we will go and run the auto merge job. Auto merge job, what it does, it will come to the match table, it will pull all the records where auto merge indicator equals to 1 and merge them. But it will not touch any records where auto merge indicator equals to 0, because that is for manual consolidation. And then we had seen some properties which are associated with a exact column. And here also one more thing, like sometimes when you click on this edit button, probably you might see a very smaller window like this. Something like this you might see. So in this case, like you will feel that other options are not there. There is some problem because it doesn't give that option to expand it or make it down. So just expand it, you will see all the options. So here we have seen these properties: null matches null. When we want to match 2 null values, we will be using null matches null. When we want null value to match with non-null values, we will use this option, null matches non-null. Non-equal matching is when we don't want similar values to match with each other, then we will use this non-equal matching. And then we had the segment matching, where we want that a specific value to get matched. That is basically the segment matching. So we have tested yesterday this null matches null option, where we have, for the last name we have selected null matches null, and we saw that first, without selecting null matches null, we saw that two records are getting matched, and when we selected null matches null, the null record was also getting matched. Similarly, we'll select just test it out these two also, null matches non-null and segment matching. So this time, like, I'm just selecting null matches non-null for the last stream column. So again, like, while saving, it will give you an option to reset the consolidation indicator values. So just click on yes, so that the match table is truncated and the consolidation indicator is reset to 4 for all the records. So we'll again go to the match process and just click on the execute batch, because we want to execute the default rule set itself. Only one record got matched. Sometime we might see some signal, because we are doing every time like this, means resetting the consolidation indicator value. So sometime it might not pick it up also, because now when I change the setting null matches non-null, it is not matching it correctly. It is we'll just validate it, just try if it works, otherwise we'll have to reload the data. Yeah. So now it is coming. It is showing like 5 records getting matched. Last time we ran, it was not giving us correct data. Sometime it might happen to you because we are every time resetting. So sometime because of some cache issue, it might not pick up the new match rule that we have created. So in that case, you can just go to the repository manager and just validate the ORS. Like you might have done validate ORS when you did the second lab. So as a part of that, you might have validated it. So similarly, just go and validate it so that it picks up the cache. So now like we'll see what records have matched with each other. Okay, before that we'll just go and check the records, like which records are null and not null. So this is the record. So here in this we have row ID object 3 and row ID object 4. These two are having null values for the last name. So according to us, we have what properties we have done is null matches non-null. So in this case, we expect 3 to match with 1 and 2, 4 to match with 1 and 2, plus 1 and 2 will match with each other because 1 and 2 have first name and the last name exactly same. So that is why I should be getting 5 records. So same thing we can see when we go to the match table. So here you can see 3 is getting matched with 1, 3 is getting matched with 2. Similarly, 4 is getting matched with 1, 4 is getting matched with 2, and 1 is getting matched with 2. The same thing, null matches non-null. So null value is getting matched with non-null values, and whatever is the matched record, means where first name and last name is exactly matching, that will always be a match. Other than that, wherever null value is there, it will try to match with a non-null value. And similarly, if we go for the segment matching, in the segment matching we can specify like I want to match certain specific records. So like we discussed yesterday, that when we are following the party model, in a single table, party table, I will have everything. I will have customer data, organization data, product data, policy data. All the master records will be there itself. So when we are creating the rules, I know that I am going to create this rule for customer data, or I am going to create it for organization. So in those cases, we always use this segment matching, where we specify like segment type equals to customer, segment type equals to organization. So in this case, I have already created in the test rules. What I have done is like I am using these two columns, customer class and the first name. So first name, we know that first name for all the records, 4 records that we have, is exactly same. And then there is a customer class column. In the customer class, we will select, go to the customer class and see like what are the values there. Okay, customer class is basically everywhere it is P, and there is a name generation column which is P and Q. So we'll take like name generation column which is P and Q, and in the name generation we will say that segment matches value P. So it will try to match only the P records, not the Q records. Okay, so here we will take first name column, and like the name generation column, these two columns we will take. And for the name generation, we will enable the segment matching. So we have to come here, enable the segment matching, and then segment matches value. So once we click on this edit button, we can add the values like P, Q. This is like an in operator. So if I give P, then only P records will match with each other. If I give like P and Q here, it is like an in operator. So it will take both the values P and Q. Here you can see both has come, P comma Q. So it will take both P and Q and it will try to match with each other. So all the records where name generation equals to P and Q will be picked up and they will be matched based on all the other columns. So as of now, like I just want P, so I will remove this Q. So now like we will use this test rule to run our match job, where I am using these two columns, first name and the name generation. Okay, so here now I am going to execute the test rule set, which is not the default one. So in this case, I will have to select from the drop down this test rule set and then click on the execute batch. If we had made test rule as a default, then we would not have to select here. So in this, like only one matched, one record matched, and again one queued for auto merge, because that's a this auto rule, that is why it is showing queued for auto merge. So now if we go and check like which record has matched, it shows like ROID object 1 and ROID object 4. These are the two records which have matched with each other. So let us see like what is the value in 1 and 4. So this is the first record and this is the fourth one. So in the first record and the fourth record, we have P in the name generation column. So that is why only those records got matched and Q didn't got matched. So like this, when we are creating the rule, we will specify that I want to match only this particular segment, and it will, all the rules will get applied only to that particular segment. So these are the properties basically which are associated with the exact matches. Now like we'll see some properties. We'll not start with fuzzy today. We'll be starting on like next week onwards, because that's a longer topic and I don't want to start that today because already half of the time is gone. So we'll discuss some other things in the meantime. Basically first is the properties. In the properties we have these columns like match columns. So these are the static things. Match columns, it is showing 4 because we have 4 match columns defined. Match rule sets, we have 2 match rule sets defined. One is like main rule set and the second is test rule set. Third is match rules in active set. So at a time only one can be active, so it's showing 1 here. Primary key match rules. So there is a primary key match rules tab is there. We have not configured that. That is why it is showing as 0 here. Now there are usually we don't change the properties here except couple of them. So now the next three properties are the ones that probably you will be going and changing. Not frequently, but yes, one time or two times you will be changing it. The first property says that maximum matches for manual consolidation. This is by default 1000. Whenever you go to any match and merge setup, you will see 1000 is there by default. So this property says that once you go and run the match process, if there are 1000 records in your match table, MTCH table, if there are 1000 records, stop the match process. Because that was initially means they have thought that okay, 1000 records are there for a data steward to match. Let them first merge all those records, then I can run the job again. So like this, whenever I go and run the match job, if MDM finds that there are 1000 matches are available, it will match them and then stop the match job. It will not try to match it further. So that's a problem from our side, because I don't want to run the match job multiple times. I want in one shot. I should run the match job and everything should get matched, whatever is there. I don't want to run 2 times, 3 times, or any number of times basically. So just for that reason, I will make it to a higher level number basically. I will put some higher number here. Depending on the data that you have, for example, you have some 20 million records in your table. So just put more than 20 million. We know that we are not going to get 20 million matches as such. Records are 20 million, but matches will be very less. But still put at a higher number. Just that you don't have to go and run it again. So two things sometimes can be done. Most of the places it is done like this only, like we will go and make it a higher number and then run the match job. So it will do a match for all the records. The other property is also related to it, which says that number of rows per match job bicycle. So the first property is just related to the match table, MTCH table, that if in the MTCH table, now these many records has to be there, then only it will stop the match job, otherwise it doesn't stop the match job, it keeps continuing. So this property will set to a higher number so that we don't have to go and run the match job every time. The second property says that number of rows per match job bicycle. Now this property is again set to 10. This means that if you go and run the match job, MDM will pick only 10 records at a time and it will match them. After matching, it will stop the match job. So for example, like if you have 100 records, you have loaded 100 records in your table. So after loading 100 records, when you come here and run the match job, MDM will pick 10 records. So we discussed about the consolidation indicator values. So what will happen? MDM will pick 10 records. That will be a random 10 records it will pick. It will change the consolidation indicator value to 3. Means it is trying to match those records. And once the matching process is over, it changes the consolidation indicator to 2. Means the match is done and it is ready to be merged. So only 10 records will be picked up and the match job will end. So you will have to run the match job 10 times so that all the records gets matched. So that is also a problem. I don't want to run the match job 10 times. So I know that there are 100 records in my table, so I will set it a higher number. I can just put 1000. Sorry, I will just put 1000 here. That because I know that I am doing just testing here as of now. Means we are in the development only and we are doing some test. Similarly, in the real time also, we will increase it to a higher level. So in the real time, we might take something into consideration, but as of now, you are doing the development part and you might be loading more than 100 records or might be more than 20-30 records for matching the data. So just come and change this setting to a higher number, 100 or 1000, so that if you run the match job once, all the record gets matched. But in the real time, we might say run it 2 times, because suppose there are millions of records, and like for example we have 50-60 millions of record, and if you go and run the match job, it might slow down the system, because probably the system is not that much capable of handling so many matches, or it doesn't have that much memory so that it can match those many records. So the system might get hanged, or the match might keep running for days. We don't know. So for that, like we will be doing a test, like usually in the development environment, we will be loading the sample data and we will run the match job. We'll see like how much time it is taking. Probably like when we feel like no, the match job is taking too much time, and in the meantime, like we will be also be checking with the DB persons that what is the status of the database. Then there will be the Linux guys will be there, who will be monitoring the data in and out, what is the load on the Linux servers, and because the packets are something is there related to packets, how much packets a Linux can send or receive. So all those details will be there, so they will be monitoring all these things, and based on that we'll see that it is getting hanged. So what we'll say, okay, we have 50 million record, so what we'll do, we'll run only for like 25 million record at a time, because see, this is only for the initial load I am discussing. Only in the initial load you will have those many records. From the incremental load, you will not be having those many records. You will be having very limited number of data. So just for that reason, if you ran the match job in your development environment with 50 million data, and you see that the system is getting hanged and the match job is running for days, in that case we can decide, okay, let's do with a smaller number, put here like 20 million, and then the match job. So we know that, okay, with 20 million now it is running fine, it is bit faster. So then we will decide, okay, only for the initial load what we will do, we will run, like I have 50 million records, so I will run 20 million, and one more time. So 3 times I will run the match job, only for the initial phase. And from the next time onwards, you might say that what I have to do, if I have put here like number of rows match cycle as 20 million, do I need to reduce it or can I leave it? You can leave it, there is no problem, because that's just a maximum value. Because from the next time onwards, you might be getting very couple of records, might be 100,000 of records for matching. So that is fine. You can, if you want, you can reduce the value at a later stage, or if you don't want, you can just leave this value. So that has an impact here. So let me show you that part. So what I will do is we have only 4 records. So I will set the number of rows match cycle to 2, so that only 2 records gets matched. And this I will leave maximum matches for manual consideration to a higher number. Just put, in our case it is very less number of records, so I will just put 1000 only, which is the default. So when we run initially, like, because now I am saving the table, so the consolidation indicator will again get reset to 4. And then when we go and run the match job, we will see that only for 2 records the consolidation indicator value is changed to 2, and for others it is not changed. Okay, so now I will go and run the match job again. So see the consolidation indicator value. Consolidation indicator value is 2 for 2 records, and for other record it is 4. So when I went and ran the match process, MDM had picked only these 2 records, the first 2 records, and it matched them. But it didn't try to match these records. So if I go and run the match job again, now these 2 records will be picked up and they will be matched with the same records or the existing records in the system. So that's this property, number of rows per match job cycle. So depending on how much records we want to match, we will set this property, and this is just for the initial phase, not for the later, because from the later we always get very less number of records. So we can do a matching on all those records. So this is the property, and the third property that you might be changing is accept all unmatched record as unique. So by default it is no. So in this case what it says that if for any record there is no match, you have to change the consolidation indicator value to 1. So that's this property, and we can set this property to yes, so that if for any record there is no match, the consolidation indicator value will change to 1, means that is a unique record. So later on probably you may say that what will happen if some records come at a later point of time, duplicate records. So that is fine. Once the duplicate record comes, it will get merged into the existing record. So we'll discuss those merge scenarios later, like when we go to the merge settings. I will show you like how to merge the records and merging the record and which record will be the surviving, all those things. So this property, if you set, if you will change the consolidation indicator value to 1. But this property works only if you run the auto match in merge job. So as of now, like I have been running only the match job. But if I go and run the match job, it won't work, because I need to run auto match and merge job. So auto match and merge means it will match the data and even it will merge the data. So if we set that, then only it will change the consolidation indicator to 1 for any record. So we'll just change our match rules also so that it matches only one record. So we'll go to the match columns and where the match rule sets, and we will remove all the settings from here, last name. So first name and the last name will match based on first name and the last name. So we know that 2 records will get matched and 2 records will not get matched because they have null in the last name column. Okay, so this is saved. So I have this match rule set, main rule set with only the first name and the last name column, and this is an auto rule. And in the properties, I have selected like accept all unmatched record as unique. So now like when we go to the batch viewer, we don't have to run the match job. Like this is the match job that I was running as of now. So after the match job, we run the auto merge job. This is the auto merge job we need to run, which will go to the MTCH table. It will pull all the records where auto merge indicator equals to 1, and it will merge them. So if you run it separately, like I have set that property to yes. Even after that, if I come and run the match job and then the merge job, it will not change the value to 1. So for those records for which there is no match, still the consolidation indicator will be 2 only. It will not change to 1. So if I want to change it to 1, I need to run this job, auto match and merge job. So auto match and merge will do the matching. It will match the records and it will also merge the record. Plus before running, one more thing that I would like to tell here is, we just discussed about the property here. Number of rows per match job by second, which is 2. So as I discussed, like we have 4 records, so I will have to run my match job 2 times. But if you go and run this auto match and merge job, we don't have to bother about it, because when we go and run the auto match and merge job, it will pick 2 records, it will match them. Next again, it will automatically pick the next 2 records and it will match them. So it takes the batch size of 2 and it keeps matching unless all the records have been matched. So you have both the options. You can go for auto match and merge job, or you can run the match job and then the auto merge job. The only reason probably in which scenarios we can go for auto match and merge job, which scenarios I can go for this match and then the auto merge. So it depends mostly on the client side. If some clients are very curious about the timings, they would say that I want to know each and every step. If you are running a stage job with these many records, how much time it took, the load job, how much time it took, match job, merge job, and there are some more jobs which will come like when we go to this fuzzy. So how much time it is basically taking at each and every level. So those things they are concerned about. So in those cases, we will run the job separately. And if they are not much bothered about, okay, I just need the data, I don't need the timing as such, then I can come and run the match and merge here itself directly. So here we'll run this execute this match and merge for customer, and we will use the default match set only. So here you can see matched record. So there is one matched record, queued for auto merge is 1, and accepted as unique record is 3. So 3 records have been accepted as a unique record. So now if I go to the SQL developer, I can see the consolidation indicator value changing to 1. See, the consolidation indicator for 3 records has changed to 1. And we had 4 records. But now only 3 records are there in my base object, because 2 records have matched with each other and they also got merged into each other. So let us just, I have been showing you in Excel sheet that what happens when 2 records got merged. So just see the scenario here. So I will go to this XREF table so that we can see both the columns which got merged. Here like Before that, we will go to this table, HMRG table. In the HMRG table, we can know like which record have been matched with which record. So here, like you can see, the source OID object is 1 and the target OID object is 2. So 1 basically has been merged into 2. So these things we can see here, the source and the target, like what is the source record and what is the target record, based on which we can identify that which records have merged into which one. And same thing we can see in the cross reference table also. Here, because we have run the auto merge match and merge job, so it is showing some extra things here that I will tell you later, like what is that. Here as of now it will be a bit confusing. So this merge we will be discussing later also. I am just showing you that the records are getting matched, so we can easily identify like which record has matched into which record. And here there are some updates, that was some extra rows are there in this table. So here we can identify this part, that we have an original row ID object and this is the row ID object. So you can see what row ID object and the original row ID object are same, means these records have not merged. Original row ID object is 1 and row ID object is 2, means 1 has been merged into 2. So using these two, row ID object and the original row ID object, we can identify in the cross reference table that if a record has merged with any other record or not, and that you can find out like going to the HMRG table also. So that is this property, accept all unmatched record as unique, that we set in the match process, and this will change the consolidation indicator value to 1. If you don't, and one more thing, that even if you set this up, you need to run only the auto match and merge job. You cannot run match job and then the auto merge job, because if you do that, it will not change the consolidation indicator to 1 for those records which don't have any match. So these are the three properties which we will be usually changing, especially for the business tables for which we are going to run the match job. And one more thing we will see about, last thing here today is the merge setting, where we will just discuss about these 2 points. In the merge settings, there is an option for immutable row ID object. So before starting, like just I will say that these are very rare options, that these will be selected. Just we should know what are they and what is the impact of them. So in the real time, I haven't used these options as such, neither immutable row ID object, neither the distinct systems that we have here. So immutable row ID object is like a drop down here, and in this drop down I will see all the source systems that I have. In this case, if I select any source system, for example CRM, that I want CRM system to be an immutable system. In this case, what will happen, that whenever I do the load job, so see the setting I am doing at the match level, I am making CRM system as an immutable system. Why we have to make it like this? Because probably the CRM system has told me that all the records that they have are unique records. Means they are telling us that already there is a unique record, there is no duplicate record that they have in their system. And the second thing is, they want to maintain all those records at the base object level. They don't want to merge their own record. They want all their records should be present at the base object level. So these are the 2 reasons why we will go and select CRM as an immutable system. So if you select CRM as an immutable system, whenever you run the load job, whenever you go and run the load job for CRM system, automatically the consolidation indicator value will change to 1. Means when we run the normal load process, at that time consolidation indicator value is 4 for all the records. But if I set this option immutable row ID object, in this case the consolidation indicator value will change to 1, means it will get loaded as 1 itself. 1 means that that's a unique record, and if any record is having consolidation indicator 1 in the tables, that record will always survive in the base object. So if at a later point of time you say that some duplicate records are coming, yes, it can come, duplicate records can always come, but if they are coming, they will get merged with the existing record, which is having consolidation indicator as 1. 1 will never get merged into any other record, because that's a unique record or a golden record. So that record will always be present at your base object level. It cannot be deleted. So same thing, like if you go to the SQL developer here, as of now all the customer records, I have 3 customer records and all of them have consolidation indicator 1 here. So now if I go and probably what's the row ID object is like, yeah, this is the row ID object. So for these all the 3 record 2, 3, 4, I have a consolidation indicator 1 in my table. So 2, 3, 4 will always be present at your base object table. They cannot be deleted. Now next, suppose I am loading one more record, a new record. I am loading a 5th record, which is a duplicate record. So 5th will get merged into, for example, suppose 2, and get deleted from my base object. So if any duplicate record is coming, it can get merged into 2 and it will get deleted. But 2 will not get merged into the 5th record, which is having a consolidation indicator value of 2. So that is the only advantage. If you have any record with consolidation indicator 1, that will always survive in your base object table. Any questions on this? Okay, so that's because if 2 records are there, for example, if you load, just trying to explain the same thing again, like if you load 2 records 1 and 2, in this case if MDM finds that both are duplicate, 1 can get merged into 2, 2 can get merged into 1. Both the scenarios are possible. So in this case, if 1 gets merged into 2, 1 will be removed from the base object. If 2 gets merged into 1, 2 will get removed from the base object. But in this case, if any record is having consolidation indicator 1, that will always survive in your base object. Any other record, if a new record I am loading that is having a consolidation indicator 4, that record can get matched with it and it can get merged with it. But this record, whatever is the existing record, this cannot be deleted from my base object. This will always be present unless we manually go and delete it. It will not get deleted. So that is the advantage here. So this we will select only in those scenarios. So if I select CRM system as an immutable system, then all the records that are loaded from the CRM system will get loaded as consolidation indicator as 1. So means they all are golden record and there is no need to match. So basically they all are distinct record also. So there is no need to match within the CRM system. So now I have only sales system which is there. So now sales system, when I load the record, sales can get matched with CRM and it can get merged into CRM. Because CRM cannot match with each other. CRM is having all the records as golden record. that is consolidation indicator 1. So 1 can never match with 1. Only 4 can get matched with 1, 2 can get matched with 1, and it will get merged into 1. So that's an immutable row ID object. And similarly, we have a distinct system. So distinct system is like any immutable, like if I am selecting CRM system as an immutable system, it is also a distinct system. Means distinct means CRM will not try to match with CRM. And that is correct also, because if CRM is an immutable system which is having all the records with consolidation indicator value as 1, then it will not match with each other. So there is no point of matching them. So for example, now I am just removing S immutable, and here I am saying that CRM system and the sales system are distinct systems. So this is again a rare scenario where CRM system says that all my records are distinct records, I don't have any duplicate record. Sales systems also say that I don't have any duplicate record. So that is fine. If they say that they don't have any duplicate record, we can also check from our side whether there are duplicate or not. If we find something, we can tell them that no, there are duplicates. But if we are not able to find and they say that no, I want distinct to be there, we can select distinct. So the main thing that will happen when we select distinct is sales system. So within the system there is no matching. Sales will not match with sales. CRM will not match with CRM records because they both are distinct. So you might say that what will happen in case there are duplicate records? Yes, at a later point of time, the source system might, for example, the CRM system might give you duplicate record. But that is not our problem, because the source system has said that they cannot have duplicate values. We tested it and probably we didn't find any duplicate in the initial phase. So at a later point of time, if they are giving me duplicate data, we cannot help it out. Means we cannot identify, because I have selected CRM as a distinct system. So within CRM system only, if there are duplicate records which has come up, maybe because of any reason, I cannot do that. Means MDM will not match them. So within matching is not possible, but cross matching is possible. CRM can get matched with sales, sales can get matched with CRM. And any one of them can get merged into any one of them. Because after the match process is done, the consolidation indicator will be 2 for both the CRM and the sales. So if consolidation indicator is 2, any record can get merged into any record. So CRM can get merged into sales, or sales can get merged into CRM. So both the possibilities are there. So this differences between this immutable and this distinct system is clear, or any questions in this? Okay, so next, like this property is remaining, so this we will be doing practical, because for this I have to show you like practically how it works. The last option, unmerge child when parent unmerges. So that will take up later once we complete the fuzzy part. So in the meantime, if you get time, just this document is there related to the match. So if you get time, just go through it, so that it will be easy for you to understand the things when we go through the fuzzy part. Okay, any questions? Otherwise, we'll end the sessions for today. Okay, then I will end today's session and meet up again on Monday 19th, 6:30 IST times. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.